What have we been talking about all this week, you guys? It has been oil and the Middle East. And President Donald Trump tweeting this morning, quote, "I have just instructed the Secretary of Treasury to substantially increase the sanctions on the country of Iran." Oil falling for the second straight day after the attacks over the weekend on Saudi Arabia's key facilities. The attack crippled half of the kingdom's oil capacity, but now the energy minister saying oil supplies will be back to pre-attack levels by the end of this month. The kingdom also saying it will release key evidence today that Iran was in fact behind the attacks. So what does this all mean for oil and gas prices? Yahoo Finance's chart master Jared Blickery is at the Wi-Fi Interactive to break down all the key levels to watch. Jared, what are we looking at? Oil's back below $60 a barrel, right?
Quite a turn of events here. You can see a sea of red. These are oil companies in particular that shot up on Monday on the news. We're seeing Exxon and Chevron, as well as some of the other players. Look at Continental Resources, down 2%. Now, this is what happened over the last 3 days. We can see it shot up on Monday on the news, but now it's down. In fact, if we look at what's happened over the last week, changes the picture a bit. We can see a lot of green on the screen here, especially some of the shale oil plays are still up substantially, based on where they were 1 week ago, and that's because there is now an embedded risk premium in the oil market. Now, according to the chairman of Aramco, that is the Saudi Arabian oil company, he said that 40% as of yesterday of the lost capacity has been restored, and by the end of September, and that's only a couple weeks away, they should have the facilities back up to their production levels before any of this started. So that's a substantial improvement based on where we were before, and we can see this reflected in the price of oil as well. So here's crude oil futures. They're off 1.3% today. And we can see over the last few days, let's go back 5 days and see the price action here. Here's this big shot up that we had on Monday. And then we just kind of been drifting slower or drifting down a little bit since then.
Jared, so what's the deal and update with the Aramco IPO?
Well, it's up in the air because I've gotten some conflicting messages. First, they said they might delay it. There were some reports in that. And then we got the chairman. He also said yesterday that they're going to have their IPO in 1 year. Well, that's a long ways away. They were talking about November before these attacks. So I don't know if in particular he was talking about both their listings because they're talking about listing in Saudi Arabia and then on a foreign exchange. Maybe they're still going to go ahead with their domestic listing on the Saudi Arabian exchange in the near future. But it looks like they're just trying to get their oil production capacities back in line first before they really try and price their IPO. So I wouldn't be surprised if they delay it till maybe December or January of next year. Not sure what he's talking about with regard to 1 year, but that's the best I have.
So, Jared, obviously the attack over the weekend was just a temporary disruption, but how much does increased escalation with Iran actually weigh into a risk for the oil supply?
Well, I think it's clear now that there was a substantial mispricing of risk in the oil market. In other words, traders were way too complacent based on given the dynamics of the global scene. And so now I think we're going to see an elevated price of oil by maybe $5 or $6 above what it would have been otherwise. That would correctly reflect the risk. If there are more attacks, yes, it's definitely going to go higher. And I think that this attack has exposed some cracks in the system. First, the Saudis, they had this drone strike. They weren't able to detect it, much less prevent it. So there's going to be a lot that they have to do to up their security apparatus. And then their storage facilities are also at 4-year lows. So I expect that around the world, everybody's going to be stockpiling oil. That's also going to put a bid under crude oil prices, maybe keep it up, as I said, $5, $7, maybe $8 for the foreseeable time going forward. And also at the pump, you can expect prices to be about 15 to 30 cents higher for the foreseeable future.
All right, thanks for breaking down the charts, Jared.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.